This program was brought to you by Verizon Communications and supported by the Judicial Arbitration and Mediation Services Foundation.
Like a lot of communities, there were covenants on property developments that would create segregated communities historically, going back now many decades. And that does have a history to it that leads us up to things today, which create the economics of it, create a predominantly Latino community.
Everybody was bused to 5 different schools, so nobody was going to school together anymore. It was awful. Awful.
You know, this kids playing in the street, and it's safe. It's pretty safe. That's nice. I mean, beautiful. I mean, I love Fullerton.
They take so much pride here. They're involved with everybody around here, so he was very happy that we were actually taking stories, because many times the news could say one thing about a community, but that's not what the community members feel like.
We're all trying to work together. It doesn't matter if we're Korean or American or Hispanic or what we are. We all know that we're here for the betterment of our communities.
From National Collegiate Baseball champions to award-winning schools, the city of Fullerton has a lot to offer.
Fullerton is a very diverse community. We have 135,000 people in our city. We are 38% Caucasian, 34% Latino, and 23% Korean, and there's, a small percentage of other cultures.
Located on the west side of Fullerton is a small community known as Maple.
Maple School is 84, I believe, years old. So it's a very old school. So when we have our reunions, you're going to have great-grandparents there, along with the grandparents, along with the children, the daughters, the grandkids, great-grandkids, all there at one time. It's amazing.
Named for Maple Elementary School, this community was the only area in Fullerton prior to 1952 where non-whites could purchase property.
Well, tell the truth, it was very easy to, with the people here, it was very nice. And so we lived down on Truslow. And so this was the first house we ever bought, and I think it's going to be the only one.
Everybody was so close, we all got along. You know how it's down gang related now. We grew up, everybody there was no prejudice. We all got along with each other. There's a lot of Spanish people in this area. We used to go out and eat and play together. We all got our bachelors and Spanish. We all got along. Everybody was just close friends.
My experience is that it's like home. It's a very tight group of people where we here in this area feel a closeness, a loyalty, a sense of, anyway for me, of wanting to give back and continue that closeness and loyalty. So it's just a very special place, and it's hard to describe. It's not even like a mental description, it's just a heart-filled feeling of love and just caring for this area.
This small, close-knit community of Maple residents created a culturally rich and safe environment to raise a family from the early 1900s to the early 1970s.
B&B's Donuts was on this side of Harbor, and I think every Wednesday they would throw their donuts out in a box. So, and we'd all be there ready to get it, and we'd come, we'd eat at the park. Every week we'd have donuts in the park, and I'm talking since we were like 3rd grade up, and so we used to always get together, and that caused us to stay tight all the way through high school and college. And even now when we see each other, we kind of laugh about how we got by those days, but that kept us tight, able to at least influence the next generation after us, and hopefully they'll influence the generation to stay close, stay tight, and things will be all right.
Despite cultural differences, Maple Elementary School became the heart and soul of the community.
Going to Maple School was great because we were the championship softball team, girls. Yes, we had some good teams.
Like when I went to Maple School, okay, we had Caucasian, white, and Hispanic, because the neighborhood was pretty well mixed down in here. But my kids were going there with just black and Hispanic. And so when they went to Acacia or some of these other schools, they might be the only black kid around there in their class. I know my son's got in a lot of fights.
President Lyndon Baines Johnson signed into action the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed major forms of discrimination. In 1972, Maple Elementary School closed its doors, forcing its students to be bused all over Fullerton as a tool to stop segregation in the community.
It was closed due to the fact that of segregation, and so students from the Maple community were bused to other schools in the Fullerton School District.
I attended Maple for Head Start and first grade, and at that point I had started to make friends already, and then our school was closed down, and we were bused to, I believe, 5 different schools, and that were pretty far away. I mean, a bus ride was an hour to and an hour back.
I was the last 6th grade at Maple School before they shut Maple School down for integration. So all my friends after me had to be bussed out all over, you know, and it was such a devastating time, you know, because our little community here, you know, we all grew up together, and everybody was bused like to, oh look, it's gonna make me cry. Everybody was bused to 5 different schools. So nobody was going to school together anymore. It was awful, awful. And it was all for integration because Maple was, you know, just all Mexicans and blacks mostly.
Over time, families moved out, deteriorating relationships. New immigrants who primarily spoke Spanish moved in, which created obstacles for the Maple community.
Back in the day, you knew who lived where. Everybody that had a house in the community, we all knew who they were. And it was a sense of belonging and safety. It used to be that when whoever passed on, the house would get passed on to the next of kin. And a lot of people have sold their houses or lost them, and renters are moving in, so it's not the same feel as it had been growing up.
That void of unity was filled by gangs as they became mentors to the new immigrant youth, teaching them how to survive in a foreign country.
The immigrants that come from Mexico, a lot of them obviously don't speak English, so the youth tend to want to be accepted. So the only thing they could be accepted in is the gangs.
Like when we were younger, we had recreations and coaches and more, I'd say we had more programs to go to, which we don't have programs now.
Like drug sellers and like drug use, because there's a lot of kids our age, and then there's also younger kids that are being influenced to that. So they're like, I mean, at school I already hear like a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm rolling today, which means they're popping pills already. They're like ecstasy, like anything.
And how old
like,
are they?
Oh, some of them are freshmen. They're like all freshmen, sophomore, juniors, so they're like from 14 to like 17, 18, and then there's some that are like 13 and they're doing it.
In 1996, Maple Elementary School was reopened, and a new sense of community began to emerge.
A large group of families and parents that were really instrumental in reopening the school and wanting to have it open again for Maple, no matter what the demographics were. And so they took the school, it was closed for a while, and then they had to modernize it. Then they opened it up for a couple grades per year until now we're a full K-6 school.
Some of the teachers they've got down there are some of the better teachers around who transferred from other schools and wanted to come into Maple to help out. And they've had some real good principals there. People that, cared about the community and the people in it. That's great. Yeah, they didn't just write off the school and say so.
The staff here at Maple is incredible, and they really care about the kids, and the kids are starting to care really deeply about how they're achieving and setting personal goals for themselves.
And one of the primary goals that I would see is us focusing on investing in our public school systems, K through all the way through college, because you know that the Cal State systems are being hit as well as our community college. And unless we invest in that, we're not going to have the productive citizens that we need and the opportunities for many of the students in Maple, because the community colleges are their opportunity.
We're working on a project funded by JAMS to try to increase the sense of self-concept in the high school kids, assertiveness, ability to manage conflict. They in turn then are going to work with elementary school kids on those same concepts as our college students mentor them, and they in turn mentor the elementary school kids. So there's a lot going on, but there's a lot to do.
Taking conflict out of the community is a project designed to introduce positive communication techniques to the youth of the Maple community. Graduate students from Cal State Fullerton's Department of Human Communications, under the direction of Faculty Emeritus Dr. Robert Emery, work with the high school students who are part of the Maple Youth Council. They emphasize positive ways of communicating and assertive behavior to reach a conflict resolution within diverse situations.
You have an accent. Someone in school keeps writing mean jokes about your accent on your locker door, and this upsets you a lot. One day you come back from class early and you catch the guy scribbling on your locker. What do?
I think I'd embrace it and just speak to him in my native language and just show him that like I'm bilingual, I'm better, well not better than you, but like I'm, you know how everybody says you're like worth more if you know more, stuff like that, like kind of like show him that.
It makes them really feel good that they have a hope and they get inspired to keep trying, and no matter what happened in the past, they can put it behind them and keep moving forward.
We really want to, or the Maple Youth Council really wants to change the community. I think it's going to start with the youth.
My hope is just that we all come together as a community to do the work, not for somebody else to come do it for us.
We stop like the drug use, that'd be like a big thing, so they would stop doing that because they're just going to end up throwing their lives away.
The Maple Youth Council promotes leadership in their community and will in turn introduce these same communication skills to elementary and middle school students through other after-school programs.
That somehow this Jesus stuff worked for them and saved their kids, you know, and unless you experience all the heartache and pain that these parents go through, to this community, God is a very positive, strong influence to saving any of these kids, any of these kids.
Community outreach groups are coming together to help rebuild the Maple community and connect with the children before the gangs have a chance.
I wish I would have had this when I was younger. These programs really make kids know that words have meanings, and many of those words, many of the times, overpower us. And knowing the outlet would be great.
I just hope there's more advocates and families become more part of the solution. There's a lot of drug usage there and gang violence, and I just wish that, and I hope that some of the parents get educated on, you know, making sure that their students, their children can move on and be successful.
There's a lot of things to be, I guess proud of, but one thing I could say I could be proud of is just how all the moms in our community are really passionate about just the kids in general, the youth, how they want them to grow up good. So I guess I'm proud of that.
This program was brought to you by Verizon Communications and supported by the Judicial Arbitration and Mediation Services Foundation.